Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my October 2019 book haul. This is actually technically my October and September 2019 book haul because I give over September to a specific scavenger hunt that's put on by the DC Public Library. They pick out 6 books that have been banned in certain contexts to coincide with Banned Book Week in September, and we do this huge scavenger hunt throughout the city to find the books with the special covers and so forth. Anyway, I have a whole video about this year's, which I will link down below. As for this October/September book haul, I don't actually have too much to show, so I'll just get right on into it. The first item on my list I got on its release day. This is To Be Taught If Fortunate, Becky Chambers' first novella. I've read and loved her Wayfarers series, so I knew I had to give this a chance. Although for some ridiculous reason I went ahead and ordered the iffy US cover, even though I have the pretty UK covers for the Wayfarers series. I don't know, I guess I had to give it a chance. To read from the back, at the turn of the 22nd century, scientists make a breakthrough in the human spaceflight. Through a revolutionary method known as somaforming, astronauts can survive in hostile environments off Earth using synthetic biological supplementations. They can produce antifreeze in sub-zero temperatures, absorb radiation and convert it for food, and conveniently adjust to the pool of different gravitational forces. So it's like we're becoming basically spaceships or something. With the fragility of the human no longer a limiting factor, human beings are at last able to journey to neighboring exoplanets long known to harbor life. Ariadne O'Neill and her 3 crewmates are hard at work in a planetary system 15 light-years away from Sol, on a mission to ecologically survey 4 habitable worlds. But as Ariadne shifts through both form and time, the culture back on Earth has also been transformed. Faced with the possibility of returning to a planet that has long forgotten those who have left, Ariadne begins to chronicle the story of the wonders and dangers of her mission, in the hope that someone back home might still be listening. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I know Thomas Wagner at SFF 180 wasn't too thrilled ultimately with this novella, but I don't think he's as much of a Chambers fan as I am anyway. So anyway, I'm hopeful, and I'm planning to read this in November. It so turns out I think I'm taking part in Novella November. I have this novella and 3 others on my docket, so that's exciting. Next, well, my scavenger hunt that I was talking about earlier led me to a specific DC bookstore called Mahogany Books, which specifically sells books by African American writers. So I went ahead and I looked through their inventory to see if there would be a specific book that I'd like to buy, along with finding my free book. And I came across this one. This is What We Lose by Zinzi Clemens. I'm pretty sure I've heard about it here or there through the literary fiction pipeline. Here's what it says on the flap. Raised in Pennsylvania, Thandi views a world of her mother's childhood in Johannesburg as both impossibly distant and ever-present. She is an outsider wherever she goes, caught between being black and white, American and not. She tries to connect these dislocated pieces of her life as her mother succumbs to cancer. Thandi searches for an anchor, someone or something to love. We watch Thandi's life unfold from losing her mother and learning to live without the person who has most profoundly shaped her existence, to her own encounters with romance and unexpected motherhood. Through exquisite and emotional vignettes, Clemens creates a stunning portrayal of what it means to choose to live after loss. An elegiac distillation, at once intellectual and visceral, of a young woman's understanding of absence and identity that spans continents and decades. What We Lose heralds the arrival of a virtuosic, arresting new voice in fiction. Okay, this might sound a little crazy, but it almost reminds me a bit of the Becky Chambers novella about how people's lives are altered through decades, and when things that hold them down to reality shift, like in this case it's Thandi's mother who dies and she has to find a new reason to live. But anyway, this is certainly going to be a lot more realist and probably minimalist and domestic, and hits all my buttons. I'm looking forward to giving it a go. Next, I have The Emotional Craft of Fiction, How to Write the Story Beneath the Surface by Donald Maass. And I held this up in my latest author answer video shortly after I went to a day-long workshop with Donald Maas, who is the head of a literary agency. I'm a member of the Maryland Writers Association, and they were able to get him to do this huge workshop about his book earlier this month. And it was just such a wonderful experience. I think I'm really going to carry forth some of the things we talked about into the future. And I have a lot of notes to prove it. And now I have the book as well. I haven't read it yet, which at the cusp of NaNoWriMo seems like it's unfortunate in a way, because I think emotion in fiction is the most important part of fiction. I think maybe it's my bias. We had the whole literary fiction discussion. And Britta Bowler, I believe, discussed if you relate to fiction based on emotion versus being more analytical and learning new things. And I'm definitely on the emotional side myself, so I know that I'll have to, infuse it into my own fiction, and I do plan to be reading this book soon enough. Next, I have A Practical Guide to Library of Congress Classification by Karen Snow, which I held up just recently in a video I did for the BookTube Prize. The BookTube Prize awards literary fiction and now nonfiction. It's entering its second year, and I'm an official judge this year. So I went ahead and crafted a video about looking into the Library of Congress classification for particularly the nonfiction that we will be reviewing. Just to say that nonfiction is classified so diversely, and it's kind of geeky and fun, but pretty much that was my way of saying, sign up to be a judge, if this is something that interests you. For me, I think this has really become my way to jump head over heels into the BookTube community and to be a part of it in a really big way. I'm so excited for next year. Anyway, I'll link to the video I did and also to the new BookTube Prize channel down below. Oh, and well, I am a library professional, so I do hope to get through this entire book myself, just to keep my own learning going in my career. I will report back once I finish. And finally, well, this book I kind of got for my nephew and I kind of got for my sister. This is A Fly by Mark Teague, and I'm sure I first saw this on Steve Donahue's channel on one of his million videos. And I was drawn to it because it's about this mother bird who wants to make her little chick fly, basically take steps into the world. Here she is trying to throw him out of the tree, it seems. And when I bought this at another local bookstore, Loyalty Books, also when I was doing the scavenger hunt, my nephew Owen was in the process of learning how to walk. And it seemed like my sister was pretty keen for him to get there already and take these developmental steps. And, it's always just a balancing act, no pun intended, of trying to make sure kids get to where they need to be in their development. So I thought this book might be helpful to the both of them. But that being as it may, I haven't seen my nephew in several weeks now, and it's a time period in life, he's 17 months old, when things move rather fast. And now he's moving rather fast on his own two legs. So we're past the fly point. He is definitely flying. But I still figure I will go ahead and give this book to my sister, and hopefully they'll still enjoy the pictures. Spoiler alert, it looks like the chick finally learns how to fly, I think. So that about covers it for me now. I will leave Goodreads links to all of these books down below. And with this, I'm jumping into my November booktubing, or really mostly, I guess, author tubing, because as you might know if you've been watching my videos, I'm about to partake in NaNoWriMo, National Novel Writing Month. So I'll be trying to write 50,000 words in a month, no pressure, and I will be vlogging my process and posting it week by week. That being said, in the past I've pretty much neglected the rest of BookTube, but I should be back to do at least a couple of tag videos within November. So starting in the first few days, in fact, when I hope to have a tag up about my channel history. So happy Halloween to all of you celebrating. Happy end of Preptober to all my nanoers. And thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.